A very warm welcome to Art Gallery Explorer, the vlog which explores and celebrates the London art scene. It's always a bit of a moment when a new Turbine Hall commission opens, and today is the day I'm going to go and explore the new Turbine Hall commission by Norwegian Sami artist Maret Anne Sara for the first time. I hope I pronounced that right. She is an artist who comes from Norway, from the north of Norway. She's exhibited at the Venice Biennale. She famously uses reindeer skulls as part of her art, and I'm really excited to explore this new installation from one of the most challenging places to exhibit in world art. So come and join me as we head inside. The first part of the installation, entitled GOAVVE, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, sees 27 reindeer hides bound into a tower of electrical power cables reaching all the way to the heights of the Turbine Hall. These hides are leftover detritus of reindeer meat production, and I encourage you to get up close and smell the hides, because Sara has imbued them with a scent released by reindeers when they're terrified. This is a horrible smell, and according to the exhibition, invites us to attune ourselves to other forms of perception and communication. This is a powerful work. The electricity cables obviously talk about environmental degradation and the pressure that the Sami culture is under. The second part of the installation is worth looking at from above before you enter it, because its shape is based, according to the exhibition blurb, on the internal anatomy of a reindeer's nose. And I didn't know this, but extremely energy efficient. The nose can heat air by 80 degrees centigrade in a second, enabling reindeer to survive in the cold conditions. We're invited to enter the maze-like structure at the bottom of the Turbine Hall, and as you approach, it's worth listening out for the soundscape, which is a really important part of this work. It combines sounds captured in the Sami landscape, like gusts of wind I heard, and also joik, I think it's pronounced, a mournful Sami musical practice which uses voice to evoke the essence of a person, animal, or space. The maze itself is formed from birch saplings, and some of these are indented with patterns used for generations by the Sami to identify and differentiate their herds. We also periodically come across Sara's motif, screens of reindeer skulls, as you can see here. Each skull has a bullet through its head, and these skulls are symbolizing both the forced slaughter of bulls in line with government requirements, but also the difficulty of reindeer herding in an era of catastrophic climate change. The climate change itself causes ice to be more fragile, making it difficult for reindeer to move around. At the heart of the maze are these very, very cozy enclosed spaces where you're invited to sit down on reindeer hide and put on some headphones and listen to the stories and descriptions of Sami native life and some of the problems and tensions that exist today. Well, I asked in the title to this vlog, art lovers, whether the new Tate Turbine Hall installation really deserves a 1-star review. It's fair to say it's split critical opinion here in London. Jonathan Jones, writing in the Guardian newspaper, did give it 1 star. He rather cuttingly said it was more suited to a hotel lobby than an art gallery, and he accused Sara of telling, not showing, lecturing, not luring. And it was a pretty damning review. Alistair Sook, writing in the Daily Telegraph newspaper, gave this a 2 stars out of 5. He bemoaned the lack of ambition and said it didn't have the intensity and mystery and ferocity that makes a great work of art.
Nancy Durrant, writing in the Times newspaper, was more generous, giving it 4 stars out of 5. I would say if we take Oliver Eliasson's weather project as like the 5-star gold standard, this is about a 3-star. It's certainly not a terrible work of art. It's not a 1-star work of art. When I think about, works of art, I always ask, do they make me feel? Are they beautiful? Do they make me think? And this installation certainly did some of all of those 3 things. I suppose what I really liked the most about it was the contrast between the vast sculpture which rose to the ceiling in a mixture of electricity pylons and reindeer hides. This was a bleak piece, and it made me feel cold, and for me it was symbolising the direct threat that indigenous communities are facing in the northern Arctic regions of Scandinavia and Russia. And it definitely made use of the space as well, stretching up. And the person I was with in the Tate the day I saw this was really impressed with it. It was spectacular, and we were there in the evening when it was dark, and so it was lit up. And it's been described, I think, by Alistair Sooke as some kind of dismembered totem pole or something like that, and that it was powerful. And then it contrasted with the much more intimate wooded structure at the bottom of the Turbine Hall. And this did a really difficult thing. It shrank the Turbine Hall and made it feel small and intimate. And that's no mean feat, especially without having a roof on it. I forgot that I was in this vast space, and I felt very cozy. And I don't think it was just to do with the fact that I had a cheeky beer in the Tate Modern members room before coming down. It was a intimate small space which allowed you to go and be transported to a different world and a different place. And so I like that contrast. And for me, that second space was about intimacy, yes, but also about the defensive crouch that indigenous communities so often feel themselves in as they battle against threats from both intrusion from outsiders and from climate change. And almost the big Turbine Hall was a metaphor for that threat. And then the maze was like a place where we could learn about Sami culture, feeling comfortable, feeling cozy on the reindeer hides. So I like that tension, and I certainly learn a lot about Sami culture and the threats that this very unique culture faces. So I did learn something, and I did feel, as I say, 2 different things in the 2 different installations quite powerfully. The calmness of the second structure and the brutal reality of the first. Although it's interesting to say that even in the sort of almost like Higgian, I know that's not a Sami concept, feeling of the second space, there was still signs of the threat in the reindeer skulls with bullets through their heads. I do think that it could have done more. It was trying to say a lot with a quite sparse array of materials, and I think that's where maybe people like Jonathan Jones and Alistair Sooke are bemoaning the lack of ambition. There could have been another stage to it, a bit like Ellen Atzoy's three-stage piece, which filled the Turbine Hall. And I wasn't so sure about the audio, actually. I sometimes find them difficult because you dip in and out at different places. It takes a bit of time to get the context of what you're listening to. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know how long the audio was. It'd be very hard to listen to it all. So that I don't think the thing worked totally, which is why it's not up there with one of the greats. But it is my view personally, a powerful piece of work. I would absolutely love for you to comment on this if you've been to it. And did it just totally fall flat like it clearly has done with some people to you? Did you feel even that it was more powerful than I'm saying? Or do you think I've got it just about right? Do please make a comment if you do have time. And I would say is it worth coming all the way to London to see from elsewhere? Probably not. Is it worth visiting if you're in the vicinity of Tate Modern? Absolutely yes, and it's free as well, we should say. And is it worth visiting if you're going to one of the shows? 100% yes. Give yourselves an extra 20 minutes or so to engage with this really interesting installation. So I did enjoy it. It's not one of the greats for me, but I was glad I experienced it, and I'll no doubt experience it again as I go to other shows at Tate Modern while it's on. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do stay tuned for many more vlogs over the next weeks and months, especially on Mondays for London shows. Thank you.